I was a girl in a book, this would all be so easy. Just give up the world happily.
Strange Blue Feelings. A series. Sal Fisher, ex-listener. Part 3. Hangout Sesh. The first night at the apartment was relatively easy enough. Besides the fact that you had to sleep on the floor with nothing but a blanket and your hoodie as a pillow. The same eerie aura of your apartment from when you first entered remained, but eventually you were able to ignore it and drown it out by playing music on your CD player, quietly beside your makeshift bed. Morning came a lot faster than you expected, thanks to your mom waking you up at around 6 a.m. to let you know the movers were here. Did she really have to ask them to come so early? You internally whined to yourself, putting your shoes on and groggily making your way down to the mover's truck. You glanced over at Sal's door before you made the trip down, wondering what he was doing. He's still sleeping, obviously, dumbass. No one in their right mind willingly wakes up at 6 a.m. Moving all of our stuff up to the apartment was a slow, tiring, and difficult process, but luckily you finished at around 8:30 a.m. Your room and apartment now full of boxes and your furniture from your previous home, you considered falling back asleep after your mother had left for work, but it was already too late. If you went back to sleep, you'd probably not wake up for hours, and the hangout time set with your friends was approaching. Might as well unpack and make this place feel like home, make it look good. Then you could invite your friends in to take a look around. They could see your cool music and movie posters, your collection of true crime and supernatural related books. Surely they'd love to hang out in your room after you got it all set up. Once you finished that thought, you got straight to work, making your bed neatly, organizing your small bookshelf, placing the CD player and the CD holder on top of it. Putting up your posters was a bit difficult. You kept dropping thumbtacks onto the floor, putting them up only to take them down, and redo it over again once you noticed they were crooked. Hectic? Yes. Worth it to impress your friends, though? Also yes. You had completely finished setting up your room at around 9:15, admiring all your hard work, posters up, bookshelves organized, bed made, TV and VHS player set up, and everything else is perfect too. Excitedly, you jumped onto your bed, shutting your eyes for a moment of rest. That didn't last long though. After you caught a whiff of yourself, you realized you definitely needed a shower, and hey, maybe putting a little effort into your appearance today wouldn't hurt either. Hopping in the shower, you washed your hair and body thoroughly, wanting to get rid of all the sweat from the hauling boxes around. Once you were out, you blow-dried your hair, curling your lashes, and applied a small amount of mascara before slipping into your clothes, a band shirt you cropped yourself that revealed a bit of your midriff, high-waisted denim shorts, again, that you cut yourself, a dark red-green oversized flannel, and your black knee-high socks complemented by your sturdy Doc Martens. You felt confident, both in your room and in the way you looked, though nervous thoughts still found their way into your mind. Are they going to be able to tell that I tried really hard? Am I dressed funny? Do they even want to come into my place? Wait, what if they don't even bother showing up? These sorts of thoughts were common for you. Despite your somewhat cool and unbothered exterior, you were still a pretty self-conscious and shy person at the end of the day. Letting out a sigh, you glanced over at the clock atop of your nightstand. 10:01. Shit, get the door, was your last thought before halting out of your room and into the living room, heading towards the door. You remembered the events of the day before as your hand touched the doorknob, giggling at how careless you were before crashing into Sally's face like that. Hey, at least that's what caused you to have plans with them today. Once out the door and into the hall, You heard the mechanical wiring of the elevator ding once it stopped at your floor. That had to be them, causing knots to form in your stomach. Yesterday was so much fun. You hoped everything today went just as well. Combing through your hair with your hands and adjusting the laces of your boots one final time, you leaned against your doorframe, hands by your side, as the two boys exited the elevator, starting towards you. Your face lit up once they started approaching you, giving them a warm smile, a bit of blush on your cheeks. Thought you guys weren't coming. Glad I was wrong. It's so nice to see you guys again. The pair looked upon you, Larry playfully whistling when he reached you. If you're trying to impress me, YN, it's working. Sick boots, too, he said with a small laugh. Feeling your cheeks flush, you rolled your eyes and gave him a gentle shove. I don't dress to impress anyone, Larry. And thanks. Saved up and bought them myself. You replied, proudly looking down at your feet. Sal hadn't said anything yet. He was a bit distracted, his eyes locked upon you, admiring how nice you looked. You looked pretty yesterday, but today just seemed radiant. Noticing Sal hadn't spoken yet, you took the initiative and waved at him, realizing something was different. His blue hair was resting upon his shoulders. No pigtails today? Oh, your hair's different today, Sal. Trying a different look for today? You asked, snapping out of the slight trance you put him in. He sighed and placed a hand on his head, the other adjusting the buckle upon the straps of his prosthetic, seemingly missing his signature hairstyle. My hair ties snapped last night. I guess they got pretty worn out and just gave up on me. Feels weird not to have them in, but nothing I can do for now until I get my hands on another pair. Noticing how bummed out he seemed, you realized you could help him out. You always had hair ties on hand. They were stuffed in one of the drawers of your desk. Oh, I definitely have some you can have, Sally Face. It's no problem at all. I've got plenty to spare. Not that you have anything to worry about. Your hair looks nice. It doesn't matter how you wear it. I wish my hair was as vibrant as yours. The blue eyes behind the prosthetic met yours. It looked as if he was squinting, but you quickly realized he was actually smiling under his mask. You just couldn't tell immediately. You took a mental note to remember subtle details like that. If it's not any trouble, I'd really appreciate it, Sal said to you before Larry chimed in. Hey, what about my hair, YN? I want to know if you think it's nice too. He joked, flipping his hair as if he was some sort of model. Laughing, you turned to open your apartment door, gesturing for the pair to enter. Yes, Larry, your hair is absolutely gorgeous. You just have to tell me what kind of conditioner you use. This made Sal laugh as he walked in, Larry following suit as he raised an eyebrow. Conditioner? I don't use that stuff. Should I be? He asked, clueless as to any aspect of hair products besides shampoo. Your apartment was now fully set up, aside from a few empty boxes laying around, couches made up nicely and carpet obviously vacuumed, a small vase of wildflowers upon the kitchen table. Nice place. You guys really cleaned up after... Sal caught himself mid-sentence, Larry elbowing his shoulder. After the last tenants. Completely trashed this place. Your back was turned to them during the exchange, so you didn't really notice anything odd about what was said. Standing before your bedroom door, you turned to them. Really? I didn't notice. When we came in, the place was pretty clean. Besides a couple of weird stains here and there. Come on, guys, my room's here. I'll get the hair ties and we can hang out for a bit, if that's okay with you guys. The pair followed you, waiting for you to open the door to your room, and once you did, the three of you walked in, the two boys immediately taking the time to admire your whole room layout. Sal walked over towards the Texas Chainsaw Massacre poster you had on your closet door, while Larry began to look through your CDs, checking to see if you had anything he didn't. Nervously, you sat up on your bed, twiddling your fingers. Sorry, my room isn't as cool as yours, obviously, Larry. But I hope you guys will hang out for a bit. While Larry was too busy reading the black labels of CDs, Sal walked around your room to look at the movie posters. Friday the 13th, Hellraiser, The Evil Dead. He was in awe. The boy turned his head to look in your direction, moving strands of blue hair away from the eye holes of his prosthetic. "Ryan, do you like horror movies?" he asked, his voice full of hope, awaiting your answer. Laughing, you got off your bed to reach underneath it, pulling out a box of VHS tapes, all horror and dark movies, dating back to the 50s. "You can definitely say that I love horror movies," you replied, gesturing for him to come look through the tapes. He was wasting no time, sitting beside you to look through your impressive collection, feeling blood rush to his cheeks as he realized you were just as much of a horror fan as he was, maybe even more. He didn't recognize a couple of the tapes in the box. Larry soon joined the two of you on the floor, taking a look at the tapes as well. "Ryan, this may be a bit sudden, but I'm gonna have to move into your room. With both of our things combined, we'd have the greatest fucking room of all time. Don't you think, Sal?" You smiled, giggling at Larry's joke. The nervousness you had earlier completely melted away. These two guys were the coolest people you'd ever met. You never met people with so many interests similar to yours. Sal lifted his head up to look directly at you, catching you off guard for a moment before you smiled cheerfully at him. Running a hand through your hair, your flannel slipped off one of your shoulders slightly. His mind was going a million miles an hour. He didn't know what to say or how to say it. His heart beat quickly, though he didn't know exactly why. All he managed to utter out was, "Ryan, for such a cute girl, you've got really morbid interests. I really like that about you." The room fell silent. Your face felt like it was on fire in an instant, your eyes blinking slowly, processing what you had just heard Sal say. Larry's eyes widened as he stared at you, then Sally face, a goofy smile spreading across his face as he placed a hand upon Sal's shoulders, like a proud dad impressed with his son's actions. "Damn, Sally face, what's gotten into you today? I had no clue you were the charmer type. Good on you, man," Larry commented. Wait, what? I said that out loud? A nervous sweat began to form on his face, underneath his prosthetic, hidden disfigured face turning bright red. If you could see his face completely right now, you'd think he was on the verge of passing out. "Sorry, I didn't mean to make this awkward, Ryan. It's just, you're like the coolest person I've ever met." Sal softly explained. Larry lightened the mood with a joke. "Ouch, thanks, Sally face. My heart is now broken. Ryan, looks like we have to fight to the death now. Whoever wins is the coolest." You let out an awkward laugh, obviously still flustered by Sal's words. Never have been told something so sweet and sincere like that before. You maintained eye contact with Sally, trying to express with your eyes how much you appreciated his words. "Thank you, Sal. I think you're really cool too. Both of you guys." Your voice trailed off, unsure of what to say next. Your head was cloudy, your throat dry. Maybe those butterflies in your stomach were trying to escape out of your mouth. You looked down at your hands, still fumbling with your fingers. Shit, I made her uncomfortable. Great. Sal thought to himself, placing a hand on the back of his neck, remembering his hair still wasn't tied up in his usual pigtails. You noticed this, remembering the whole reason the three of you came into your apartment in the first place. The hair ties. Quickly you got up, making your way over to your desk, opening up the top drawer, and rummaging through it. The two boys watched you, wondering what you were looking for, but remembered once you turned back to face them, holding up a baggie of hair ties in your hand. "Almost forgot to get these for you, Sally face, but, You paused, grabbing your hairbrush off the desk as well, holding them up, making slight puppy dog eyes towards Sal. "Do you mind if I do your hair today? I promise I'm pretty good with hair." This was your way of clearing up the awkward air from earlier, and just a way to show Sal how much you enjoyed his presence. But not wanting to make Larry feel left out, you offered this to him as well. "You can go next, Larry. I'm thinking a French braid?" You joked. Smirking, Larry made a face, obviously opposed to the idea. "You can brush my hair if you want, but leave the hairstyling to Sally Face here," he said with a chuckle. After hearing your offer, Sal was relieved. If you were kind enough to offer to do his hair for him, obviously his comment from earlier couldn't have bothered you that much, right? "I'd really appreciate that, Wyan. You'd probably do my pigtails better than I ever could." Smiling ear to ear, you patted a spot on your bed, inviting Sal to sit there while you did his hair, and he obliged. Larry invited himself onto your bed as well, laying back and yawning, picking up a music magazine you had on your nightstand and began to flip through it. Once Sal was comfortably seated, you began to work on his hair, brushing through his hair, making sure to be gentle. It was a bit different doing Sal's hair. His mask didn't make it just a little bit harder. You didn't want to tangle his hair in the straps of his prosthetic, but it was damn near impossible. Unsure of how to ask without seeming too forward, you stammered a bit. Sal? The, straps. If you don't mind." Sal forgot that he always had his mask off when he did his hair, so in the moment he panicked for a second. He didn't want you to stop. The feeling of your hands gently caressing and brushing his hair was so soothing, but he wasn't comfortable with you seeing his face. Not yet, anyways. He was about to speak before you came up with an idea. Oh, how about this? You can undo the buckles and straps and hold the mask in place with your hands for a little. That way, you don't have to take it off completely, and I can still do your pigtails. If you want, I mean. This sounded perfect to the blue-haired boy. "Good thinking, Wyan. Thanks for being so considerate," Sal said, reaching behind his head with one hand to undo the straps. If the other hand was holding his mask in place, Larry slightly listened in on your and Sal's interaction with one another, smiling to himself, happy to see his friend get along with such a nice girl. He hadn't seen Sal so comfortable around someone besides himself in ages. This was a huge step for Sally Face. "Wyan, did you fall from heaven, or are you just a saint? Either way, you're the nicest chick I've ever met. You'd put Mother Teresa to shame," Larry remarked, laughing to himself, sitting up as you watched him carefully style Sally's hair. "It's just the least I can do. I don't want to make Sal uncomfortable. We only did just meet, and asking him to take his prosthetic off would be really insensitive of me. It's just what you do for your friends," you said, finishing up the left pigtail, moving on to the right side of Sally's head. "When Larry's right, either you're an angel or a saint." Sal thought to himself, thoroughly enjoying the feeling of your hands upon his head. He didn't want it to end, but it had to eventually. You and Larry talked up a storm while you finished up Sal's hair, about some shitty horror movie that had just come out, Sal occasionally chiming in on how the movie could have been better if they had done something or the other differently. 10 minutes later, you proudly announced you were finished. You can buckle up your prosthetic now, Sally Face. Go look in the mirror. Tell me what you think." As Sal walked towards the full-body mirror in the corner of your room, Sal complimented your hard work, making you feel even more confident, awaiting for Sal to give his input. Once in front of the mirror, he stared at his reflection, tilting his head from side to side in order to look at both pigtails. "Geez, I'm kind of embarrassed right now. Your pigtails put the ones I do to myself to shame," Sal remarked. Turning to face you, he was clearly smiling underneath his mask by the way the corners of his eyes lifted slightly. "Oh, Sal, I'm so glad you like it. I really did try my best. I feel like I'm on a roll." You spoke, turning your gaze towards Larry, who instantly knew what you were thinking. After letting out a sigh, he laughed and didn't even bother to argue. "You're lucky you're cute, Wyan. Go ahead, give me the Sally Face style." After hours of hanging out and dicking around with each other, The two boys said their goodbyes for the day and left your apartment, thoroughly happy with how they spent the day. Larry and Sal had entered your apartment with messy, loose hair, but now they left your apartment with perfectly styled pigtails.